we were quite happy to take minimal salaries, would you call it? It was pitiful.
Non-existent.
It was almost non-existent, but we were gaining huge experience and on the ground experience. And because if you've been around campgrounds, the people are amazing.
Welcome to the RV Entrepreneur Podcast, the weekly show for nomads, work campers, RVers, and entrepreneurs looking to earn a living or build a business while enjoying the RV lifestyle. This week's host is Glenn Willard. Let's settle in and enjoy the RV Entrepreneur Podcast, brought to you by RV Life.
Welcome to the RV Entrepreneur Podcast. I'm Glenn Willard, your host this week, and today we're diving into the financial heart and operational soul of campground success. Are you a campground owner struggling with messy financials, outdated systems, or just feeling overwhelmed by the day-to-day? Then you're in the right place. We're joined by Jill Shepard, who specializes in cleaning up campground financials, and Randy, an expert in optimizing business and system processes to help you maximize profits and unlock your campground's full potential. We'll also discuss turning your corporate skill set into a legitimate consulting gig. Let's get started.
This episode is made possible by Travelfy. Want reliable internet without the hassle? Meet Travelfy. It's portable, high-speed Wi-Fi that's ready to go wherever you are. From road trips to remote cabins. No tricky setup or permanent location required. Just plug in and you're connected. And here's the best part. No contracts, no commitments, and no reactivation fees. Pay only for the months you need. Travelfy connects to the strongest available signal among multiple major networks, so you stay online with confidence, backed by a US-based support team that knows the outdoor lifestyle. Travelfy, simplifying internet while you travel. Visit travelfy.com today. That's TRAVLFI.com. Listeners can save 15% with code RVE at checkout.
Jill and Randy, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for having us. This is exciting.
Yes, it is. And I'm glad to have you both on here because I think this might be the first time we've covered something in this nature that you guys do specifically. And we'll get more into that. But because this is the RV entrepreneur, I really want to know first how you got into RVing. And you mentioned already it was in 2020. So fill me in.
Well, I had been traveling for work. I was in senior housing before the pandemic and traveled every 10 days. So I was out for 10, back for 4, out for 10, back for 4. And we've been married a very long time, and this did not work really well when we like to be together a lot. We're one of those couples who really enjoy, every weekend it would be 2 days of sleep, 1 day of laundry, and then I was back out on the road. So it was not, I had been talking to him about, hey, because I'm traveling all over, maybe the company would, pay us the same amount, which was a lot of money to fly in hotels, and change it over to an RV. And then we'd at least be together for cocktails every night or whatever.
What she didn't say was that she, in 2019, invited me out to visit her at one of her locations in Pennsylvania. It so happened to be the weekend of the Hershey RV show.
So I connived him to come out for a weekend to spend with me because it wasn't that much of a drive and it was very close to where I was at. It was 2 hours drive?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, so that was not much of a drive. If you live in Michigan, that's not a drive at all to get somewhere cool. So we went to the show and I'm like, this is the idea. I know I've been throwing it at you. I know you hate camping. I know you hate bugs. I know you hate all of this. You do not want to work on an RV. I'll promise to do everything. You just need to sit in it and tell me what works for you. So go ahead, tell me.
Yeah, so we started with Class Bs, went and sat in it for about a half an hour, and I'm going, this is a nice RV, but I'm going to have to be in here 24/7. So we're going to go a little larger. We ended up with a Class C 36-footer.
Yeah. 36. Was it 36 or 28?
36.
Yeah, you would know because he figured out how to fix everything on it. And
is that what you still have?
No. We upgraded to a 4-slider and we're in a Tiffin now.
Oh, good choice of a rig. Okay.
Well, it was, during the pandemic, prices were great for the Class C. We got ones with 2,000 miles on it for $60,000. Like crazy good pricing. And
wow.
Then we rolled that into this one 2 years ago?
2022.
2022.
No, sorry, 23.
23. Yeah, we rolled into this one, and this is it. This is the bomb. This is like the bomb. King size bed, fireplace.
And she promised to do everything on the RV, all the maintenance. I dump it. She has not dumped it since the first time, which was
That's only because I filled the lower bin and half of it under the bed of the first one because I put the water in the clean out or something. I don't know what I did. Anyways, since then, he hasn't let me really touch the water area.
Well, it still sounds like it's a great dynamic and it works just fine. And if this rig is the bomb and it's the best one ever, then you're in the right place. I understand. First, Randy, we now have a Class B, and we started out in a bumper pull travel trailer. And the Class B for a family of 4 what it is a fantastic beach mobile. I love it. It's a quick, if you want to run from here to Maine and you just need, a quick Walmart, it's great. It's, your bathroom's with your kitchen, everything. It's wonderful and you're super agile, but man, for full-time living, not a chance. So I'm glad you guys deviated away from that. All of that said, your business was totally groovy with you buying the RV instead of flying everywhere?
Well, they hired me March. I had to go up to Chicago March 16th, and they closed Chicago down the 18th. I don't know. I was up there just getting stuff ready, even though I had a lot of experience. And they were like, oh my gosh, they're shutting down the state lines. We need you to go to St. Louis right now.
Oh.
Take your computer right now. And we only had a car. Like, he had come with me because it was a hotel in Chicago. Why not? And so he dropped me off in St. Louis, drove over to in North Carolina where we were, picked up my clothes, came back to St. Louis, and then we flew from St. Louis to California to pick up the RV.
Wow.
So, and this was all pandemic. People were freaking out, but I was in the senior living business, so I kind of knew what not to do, what to do. And we did not tell our children because that would have not gone over. It wouldn't have gone over well at all.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. First of all, the senior living during that time period, I imagine that was a difficult situation to deal with. Stressful. Yeah. So,
I'm so glad that we did it then, because you could come home to a hammock and a cocktail. And it didn't matter what happened during the day. I had my downtime, which a lot of people didn't. A lot of people ended up, staying at the place to take care of people because there wasn't enough staff. So it just, difficult times.
Well, that's a great segue. Can we get into, you mentioned senior living. What else did you guys, both of you, do before you started Pop Nose Campground?
Well, while I was doing senior living, we were also helping a corporation purchase parks. So because I have an accounting background and sales, and he's the IT guy, we were already on the road. We were perfect for segueing into working with parks. We'd already knew a lot of park people. We would get there a month before the close, verify everything on the ground that was being sold. It was all working order, get the IDs, all the things you need, verify the cash the day of close, and then help them reopen under the new name, getting staff, keeping staff or not keeping staff, depending on who was there. Kind of coordinating it for the first month after, right? And then
what happened was she transitioned from traveling to all the different senior living communities to being fully remote. And so we were also able to move into the consulting for a campground purchaser and getting their new parks on board and in their system.
Yeah, they really got a 2-for-1 because we were quite happy to take minimal salaries, would you call it? It was pitiful.
Non-existent.
It was almost non-existent, but we were gaining huge experience and on the ground experience. And because if you've been around campgrounds, the people are amazing. They are so much fun. You either have a grouchy old man or they're amazing. And most of them are amazing. And usually the wife will be all right if the guy's grouchy. So, but he knows how to fix everything. So we met people and we loved the people in this industry. And so we decided to focus on this industry, realizing many of them had no clue that they're running a business, didn't know how to run a business, didn't understand how to track their expenses. They didn't even know like things they could write off. And like some of them did. Some of them figured it out. Oh, the cash, I don't have to record. Well, yeah, that's great. Unless you want to sell. And when you want to sell, now you need to record all the cash. And all of a sudden your income doubles and the IRS is wondering why.
Well, we're not going to go down that road, Jill.
There's another whole road
all about that world.
So the people that we met made us veer into this just because the people were so cool. And we were in 5 states, 6 states,
5 or 6 states. Yeah.
Yeah. Working for this company because they were just opening them everywhere. They had no clue. We only spent a year with them.
About a year and a half.
About a year and a half with them. And then we parted ways with them. I have nothing bad to say about them. I'm just like, they didn't like to be on the ground operating, and they really needed people on the ground operating. And so we just had a philosophy difference. So, they're still operating. They're still out there. But, it's more corporately run than it is people run. So it's just a difference in opinions, really.
Sure. Well, that says a lot when you say that. And I think if we back up for a moment, you made an incredibly important point, is that you accepted peanuts as a salary.
Oh, yeah.
Just to gain the experience.
For both of us. Yes. Peanuts for me, it was 50 or something less thousand I was making a year, and nothing for him because he came free. So because I needed him to do what I needed to do and to do it as quickly as they needed it. Yeah. They got we got incredible experience and a lot of learning with a lot of different software systems, Firefly, just Campground, all of those campground marketing things. And actually Campground Marketplace, that's when they came in, right?
Yes.
They came in because they needed some accounting help. So they're like, we can't figure out, we're not getting the right numbers. We can't figure out the values. And I'm like, I'll give you free valuations for any of the parks that you want. So I was doing free valuations for the parks to make sure they were priced right, which is huge. But
yes, it is.
Which is why when was it? Was it December of this last year? Yeah, December of this last year, the company said, we're not doing a remote anymore. You've finished all your projects. You've got all our Yardy stuff working, our real estate stuff working. We're going to let you go. Great. I wasn't even freaked out because I had so many contacts. I just told all my contacts, okay, I'm taking live customers now. If you want me to do your campground, I'll do it for $19.80 prices. I don't care. And now I have 104 clients in, I don't know. Anyways, Campground Marketplace, I do a lot of work for them. They've basically, given me a base so they can call me night, day, weekends, and whenever. And the base is enough to cover us. He retired. So so when I get too much work, guess who does it?
Exact. There's an overflow tier. Yes. 184 current clients? 104. Okay.
Yeah.
But that's still a lot.
Well, some of them are annual. Some of them are monthly. Some of them are minute by minute. But what Campground Marketplace found was that because I had done the books for these and got the valuations, when the buyers came in, and many of the buyers are brand new, or they want to buy a park, or they want to be park owners, they really didn't know what they wanted. They really don't. They don't know how to look at the numbers. They didn't know how to break it down. And so they could call me and I could work them through the pages that I had worked through and said, this park is priced at 114% of value. In other words, you're getting a really great deal. If you want to do this and you want to live on site, buy this park. And so we knew enough about SBA loans and owner financing that we've been able to help them really sell more parks, a lot more parks than we're selling, just because that communication piece. So the minimum that they give me, which is a very small amount, is enough to cover my basic bills. And then any extra that I get in from commissions or getting something sold for them is just gravy. But I'm having a blast. I'm loving it. Now that there's no stress.
Nice. You're very valuable. Both of you are valuable assets on both ends of the transaction, it sounds like.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Because, a lot of new owners will be like, oh my gosh, I don't know what software to use. I'm like, use what they're using for a month. But you're going to need someone to transition all of those numbers and all of those reservations into what you want to use, unless you change, don't change it day one, because that's a mess. So you want to migrate it over to the new one. The easiest ones to migrate were the ones using Google Calendar, even though they were double booked everywhere.
Excel spreadsheets.
Yeah. Handwritten notes.
Old school,
no computers. Those are the businesses that sell for a lot less because they have no clue what they're bringing in because most of it's going in their pocket.
I was going to say they're cash based and they feel like they're just printing money and there's very little value there except for the assets. Yes.
Well, and a park. So Randy and I have been in real estate a long time, but we did tenant-based real estate and commercial real estate. This is real estate without having to repair anything, painting walls, repairing carpet, having pet problems. There's a lot of stuff taken off the list when it's a campground.
You're talking my language.
Investments, and it's recession-proof because what we heard last year was that, occupancy was down a little bit. Occupancy is so high right now, it isn't even funny. It's jumped because of the market. Because if you want to, if you have 2 weeks off with your kids and normally you go do a trip, well, you can't afford Disneyland right now. And these parks have as much fun and even more fun, different things going on. And so I tell the parks, get a foam party, go get the foam machine, go get it. It's like $40. Get the bubbles, do a foam party in different colors every Saturday at 10 a.m. or 2 p.m. when it's hot and the kids all want to do something, do a foam party. Charge each kid $2. The thing will pay for itself in the first weekend. And then it's just the best place in town to be. So,
generating new streams of revenue. I love it. Yes.
There's some really good ones out there right now that are really inexpensive that will add to the park value tremendously and occupancy.
Yes. Yeah. It to the customer service value. When you make that effort as the owner and they see that effort, even if it's something as simple as putting, the silly string or whatever it happens to be, into effect, it means the owner cares. And that perception is huge. You know this, but
Yep. Yeah, and I mean, there's the fishing contest with the little kids.
Oh, yes.
Who gets the biggest fish? Well, you get what, $1 to go spend in the store, go get a candy bar, whatever it is. But if you have one of those little poppets that has streamers and things, and you do a picture with the kid with the fish and the streamers,
enormous. Yes.
The parents are just, because the kid is so happy. And it's so much fun, and every kid now wants to get the streamers. It's very simple. People haven't changed a whole lot. They just want to have fun.
You're selling smiles.
Yeah, that's it.
Selling smiles. And there's a lot to be said for, campgrounds, because you mentioned earlier how amazing the people are. And you also nailed it when you said it's either one grouchy guy or it's wonderful people. And everyone listening to this, if you have an RV, you definitely have experienced this. And yes, I love campgrounds. I love boondocking. I love all kinds of RV living. But, there is something special about a campground.
Hey RVers, let's be real. Your RV shower head isn't great, and even if you swapped it out for something better, chances are it's just a shinier version of the same old thing. And if you're really lucky, those stiff hose kind of let you get wet, but definitely not where you want it. That's where Waterpik comes in. A global leader in water technology, they've designed the Transform RV shower head to change the way you shower on the road, making it easier and more efficient to shower in tight RV spaces. While other RV shower heads have limited spray adjustments, the Transform RV's unique 360-degree pivoting head allows you to customize to any spray angle without having to remove it from the bracket. This means you can reach your desired spray area and shower with both hands free. This shower head doesn't just work better, it feels better. It's engineered to deliver powerful, consistent water flow. Its multiple spray settings are optimized to get the most out of your water tank. And with the new trickle switch, you can conserve water without that shocking blast of cold or hot water when you turn it back on. It's available in white, chrome, and nickel. The Waterpik Transform RV shower head is ready to upgrade your RV shower. Head over to Amazon and check it out now.
we're not going to escape this conversation without you diving into, any of our listeners who might want to buy a campground. As it just struck me, I was like, man, I've always wanted to own one. What should those of us be looking for? Give us some tips.
Well, you need to get educated, and then you need to narrow down what type of campground you want. So there's the under 50 spots, which will support you the rest of your life into retirement. Not a whole lot of work. You have maybe 4 or 5 monthlies that come every year that stay, that pay all your bills, and the rest are just people in and out. If you want something over 50 to 75 sites, you're going to need a manager, or you're not going to have a life.
Yes.
You're going to need someone in there, or you're going to need 2 or 3, 4 work campers who are amazing, that love your area or love being in your park, who will work 2 or 3 days for you so that you have a life. If you're going over 100 sites, if you're going for a big campground with, horse corrals and all kinds of fun games and stuff going on, you need staff. So then you need a manager with staff.
Yeah.
So the money's very similar for all 3 of those. It depends on what you want to do. If you want the quiet hippie type backlog, music comes in every Saturday. You do the s'mores and you just kind of hang out. You're going to do okay. You're going to do 40, 50, 60,000 a year. You do fine if you're in a good area. If you're in a harder to get to area. Now, I happen to know that Harold, that's Campground Marketplace's owner. He's got one park in Western North Carolina for sale. It's one of 2 parks that did not get hit by the hurricane.
Oh, okay.
There's no other parks that are rebuilding there. Hello. People are like, oh, it's in really bad shape and there's trees down. I'm like, it's one of 2 parks right by the Blue Ridge Mountains that are going to be left over, where none other are being rebuilt.
Oh,
I'm telling you, this is a really good deal.
What do they charge for a park like that?
I want to say it's between 1 and 2 million, but the owners are so great that
talk about the different financing options.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you, Randy. I was just about to ask that. No,
yeah, usually you're looking at, you want to have 30% down, but most of the owners are taking less down than that. And they're cutting amazing deals about, well, if you can get partial financing, I'll subvert my first thing to a bank, and then I'll hold the second note for you if you've only got 80 or 100,000. Or you get a couple of friends together and say, do you want to have a percentage of ownership and no say so? Or do you want to just lend me the money and I'll give you 4% solid over the next 5-10 years, interest only, while I get the park up and running? Because I'm sorry, we don't get that from a bank right now. And this is a park where you're going in and there's sites there and there's reservations there. There's cash day one.
I was going to say, it is in the black immediately. Yes. Immediately.
So then you start adding and doing things to get your social media up, because they are not online. It's been word of mouth for years.
Oh my! I'm so glad you said that. I don't mean to interrupt you there, but that is the biggest problem with campgrounds and their lack of online, presentation.
Well, and I don't know about you, but I use RV Life. We use RV Life, and we're not saying that to plug it, but honestly, we couldn't have done this life without RV Life. We have every trip we've ever done, how much it cost, where we stayed at Harvest Hosts, if we liked that Harvest Host, how great it was to stay there, because there's in between places. Randy and I don't like to drive 12-hour days. We're at the point in our lives where
3-hour max.
I fall asleep after like 2 hours, and we want to get there early. We want to hook up. We want to enjoy the area. So you just break it up, and then that's when you tell people where you're going to be. And if you break it up like that, it is the most fun you'll ever have, because you can enjoy the trip. You can enjoy the morning. You're there by 2-3 in the afternoon. It's easy to pull in. There's nobody like waiting to get in. There's no traffic, and you set up your site and it's margarita time.
Exactly. Jill, you are speaking my language. I always I had a 250-mile max whenever our moving day was, because I wanted to get there way before anyone else. I wanted to get there. I wanted to be able to make my dinner at 4:00 and enjoy the rest of my evening and be in bed by 9. And isn't it nice to go short distances and just,
And then you see the stress that other people do because they've waited till after work to go somewhere, and then they're getting there at 7 or 8 at night and they can't see their spot well, or they don't know it well, and they're not communicating nicely to each other. And the dog's got to go, and the dog's barking, and everybody's waiting. I mean, it's like, guys, just come earlier. It's supposed to be a chill lifestyle. It is a chill lifestyle, even though I'll make this year more than I was making in my corporate job.
Beautiful.
And it's not from one source. It's from so many sources that if someone says, hey, you know, I'm having a bad month, let me do it quarterly this year. You know, let me give you stuff in like 2 or 3 months. Or, hey, this is my hot season. Let me prepay my annual bill now. And you just have to do everything through the end of the year. And I'm like, whatever works for them. I'm just flexible. And I think that that's the key to having an RV business is you must be flexible financing wise to be sympathetic to where people are at. And then if I can help their business grow 50% and they can sell for 50% more, which at a 10 cap is, so if I can add 10,000 to their bottom line, that's $100,000 when they sell.
Significant.
Significant. Yes. Yes. And I can tell them what to get to a 9 cap where their money's worth even more. Or, you know, some of them are up there at 13, 14 caps. That's where you want to buy because they need some work. If you're the type that wants to do work, we're not that type.
I completely understand.
I want to walk in, get cash, have a couple of managers, and sit by the pool. That's what I want to do.
That's how I like to run a business also. Yes. Well, I mean, that's how you scale, right? I mean, and unless you want to buy a job,
right?
And that's how you should do things.
Right. And you just got to know where to put that money. And whether you put it into a camp store or you put it into a concession stand or you coordinate in food trucks and just get a percentage of what they do.
Sure.
Way better. Way better. You know, when you bring in the local singers who are trying to make a name for themselves, you can bring them in for dirt cheap and they'll get a following that way.
Absolutely. Now, I'm glad you mentioned food trucks. That's a great idea. I mean, you don't have to worry about any inspections. You don't have to worry about, you know, well, actually, that leads to another question. What about like liquor license? Do you deal with any of them that have a liquor license?
Yep. The liquor license, they get their event license to sell liquor on your property for that day or that weekend. But think about it. They use an RV spot. The hookups are all there. The water is right there.
Right.
And all they do is plug and play. And it's every, Tuesday night. So you start getting people who come in earlier in the week or stay later because there's something fun happening and there's no rush to go anywhere else.
Exactly.
Do Taco Tuesdays. Get 4 trucks that are all Mexican themed. Do margaritas. What you do is you sell them out of your store, the frozen ones, the ones in the prepackaged frozen ones.
Simple. Yes.
Right? Isn't that the KISS method, right?
Any business, if you keep it simple, you're going to do fine.
Yeah.
I strongly believe that. You've looked at so many different campgrounds. Have you seen any P&L statements that just like blew your mind? You're like, how are you still in business? Any examples?
Yeah. Those are the ones that are handwritten on pieces of paper. I think my expenses are this. They don't keep copies of their utilities, so we can verify that is what they're paying for utilities. Many of them have wells and no septic at all. They just have wells and they have lagoons. Wells and lagoons. So lagoons are great, but they need to be inspected. They have to be inspected, and you need to keep those records because a buyer can't walk in there without inspections. And if we start asking for inspections after 15 years, you're going to get closed down. You're going to get closed down. So you have to hold those records, even though it's a long-term thing. Maybe it's every 5 years. And the worst part, I usually tell people, give me your bank statement. Oh, it's my personal bank statement. Okay.
Oh.
How are we going to separate your business from your personal? Well, if this is your entire livelihood, then every deposit you make is for the business. Well, no, my brother-in-law gave me a loan so it's separating those little pieces out to find the business to get a real number for a buyer. Because if they want to sell, they aren't going to sell to an outside buyer. They have to sell to family then, because family is the only one who knows what their lifestyle is.
That's true. And boy, does that limit their retirement.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, I mean, that's why sellers are really happy to hold paper or make a loan to the new buyer. They want that retirement income. They don't want to work anymore. They're tired. So, or it's not fun anymore. If you're in your 70s, I would say late 70s, it's starting to get tiring and maybe you have health issues. I know of 3 parks right now that have owners with health issues will sell dirt cheap, hold paper, whatever they need to do. They can't run the park anymore. They can't clean the cabins anymore. Health-wise, they can't do it. And it's just a matter of finding the right people who want something, in that state or in that area to take it over, knowing all the good, bad, and the ugly, and how to grow it. It's hard to grow it when it's 6 acres and it's full of cabins, unless you do tiny homes. And you convert those cabins to Airbnbs. Because a tiny home, and if you've ever been to recreational resort cottages, is that it? From Texas, look at their tiny homes. And they're all like 85,000, but they'll rent for probably $300 or $400 a night.
Exactly. And I have looked into that when I was looking into different types of investments. Wow.
I know of a tiny home village right now, fully cemented, all the power, everything's in. It's got 11 tiny homes on it now, next to a casino in, where's it that people, they say casinos go to die. Where's that? Tulsa. What is that? It's in the movie. It's in the movie, Ocean's 11, 12, or 13. It's in one of those. I go, that's where
I remember this line, but I don't remember where it is.
Anyways, that's where it's at. It's a beautiful casino, and it's literally the casino comes by with a bus to pick up your people. So don't you think some of the workers would like to have a nice monthly small tiny home right there, and they wouldn't have much to do to get,
Wow.
You'd back up a tiny home, you'd build it, and I took it from what it was doing now, which the owners are out of state and they're not in good health, and they're willing to bankroll the whole thing. Like you can walk in with almost nothing down.
Goodness. Yeah, I imagine their annual revenue doesn't hurt either.
These are all on the Campground Marketplace website. They're all there. They're all sitting there. You can go look at them.
I was going to ask next where anyone can go and look, because I've been on that site and I have looked for campgrounds, and it's, as we have sold our business in 2021, and I'm doing consulting myself, and I'm constantly looking for businesses to buy because I don't want to start over.
Right.
And it's so much work. I would rather take the pile of money I'm sitting on and just buy a business that's already in the black. So especially something that has living quarters on site. How cool is that? You just pick up and you go and you move in and you're running a business.
Exactly. I mean, it kills me. He's got in his main building, he's got an office, a little vending, and some laundry. I don't know if you know it, but real laundry on site with monthlies makes about $750 to $1,000 a week.
Seriously? Wow.
So why aren't you pushing? You know what I mean? I can tell you what I'll do. I don't have the energy to run one anymore. We looked 5 years ago, and we found one.
That's a story.
That's another whole story. Yeah, we didn't buy it mainly because it had a huge motel in front of it. It was a motel with a small RV park, and we wanted an RV park.
You don't want both. I understand.
I didn't want the motel, but what they did to the old KOA and added a motel to it was a shame. So it would have taken several million to update the park, even though it was on the highway. Yeah, it was good price if you wanted a motel.
Okay, I don't want a motel.
I didn't either.
So when you first start working with a new campground, you evaluate their books, the systems that they have in place. Randy, you're looking at all of the back end systems. Do you ever evaluate the staff? Do you interview the staff at all?
We have in the past.
Are you guys the props? I'm sorry, I had to say that.
Yep.
If we were asked to, we would do that. Yeah.
Okay.
Pricing, value of staff. When we tell people you're going to need 2 people to run your operation with you, we go based off of about $15 an hour at 40 hours a week. That's how we base an extra staff member for it. Other than that, you're going to use campground work campers. Work campers are the best. They're the best. If you have a great location for snowbirds, they're there. Although COE parks, we stayed at a COE park for 8 months, Yeah, waiting for this spot to open. So yeah, we were right on the water all last summer. It was amazing. It was great.
Man, that sounds nice.
It was paved spots, full hookups, and you worked what, 12 hours?
20 hours.
20 hours. He worked 20 hours because I was still working, man. I didn't have time. So normally it was a couple's job, but they figured out he was so efficient and he was actually helping the actual people who did reservations. We were in the other shack that they were like, yeah, Jill doesn't have to come. We don't need her. He's enough on his own.
Nice. Well, so Randy, are you steering Campgrounds into any specific software or SaaS software that's helpful?
Well, it depends on how they want to operate because there's so many out there. If you're a bigger and you have multiple locations, you're going to want a higher end system. But there's
like RMS.
RMS.
RMS is difficult to do, but it does amazing things for multi campgrounds.
And then you have, like CampSpot, but you also got to be careful of how they're billing. Do you own your leads? All of that kind of stuff
yes.
really applies in this realm. So you just got to be careful.
ResNexus, difficult to operate, but they will work with you a little bit more. So we've heard about all these systems and we talk to a lot of campground owners and they're like, well, this one charges, $5, but we just pass it on. Well, if you don't have to pass it on, you could not pay that and then collect it for some ice cream or beer or something, then it would be in your pocket, not their pocket. So yeah, there's some evaluation to be done on how many reservations they have, how many sites they have, and how they run their business and how computer savvy they are.
Yes.
I mean, some of them just need to be on sites where it goes right into their system. It puts the reservation system in there. It's direct. Some people are more savvy and can move stuff around. My girlfriend wanted, she owns a park down in Georgia. She has a really great system. She switched systems, put a gal in charge. I wanted to go in and evaluate how she was using the system, and the girl went ballistic, like, I don't want you in here. I'm the only one who. So come to find out 2 years later, the girl's been embezzling for 2 years.
That's why.
That's why she didn't want me in there.
Right.
So, I mean, we were sitting outside and my girlfriend would bring a bucket of quarters over because her laundry was like $1.50 a run, quarters. And she had a quarter change machine and stuff. So I was sitting there I was looking for specific quarters to make a set. So I was helping her, put them together while I was looking for my set. I think I spent $17 with her helping her. But, yeah, it was like a 5-pound metal bucket every week of coin. But I mean, $1.50, everybody's going to come do their laundry from 50 miles
really
around
cheap.
Because it's cheap.
That's really cheap.
And now there are companies that actually you can use a credit card and it's all done through an app.
Yep.
So it depends on how much you want to put an investment into your laundry service and whether you're going to recoup that investment.
Sure.
Or you could just lease the whole operation. You can lease the whole thing and just get a percentage.
Right. Well, I'm thinking the demographic. I mean, what type of demographic is coming? Is it someone who's not going to want to put an app on their phone who actually wants to pay cash?
Yep.
I suppose that comes in.
She's right on the highway. She has about, out of her 120 sites, she has about 40 to 60 that are monthlies because they stay for the winter because of where she's at. And so they do their laundry right there.
Nice.
But the people coming in and out, I told her you need to charge a surcharge because you got these Class A, just like us, who come in and hook up and we do our laundry on site because we have a full hookup. That's when you catch up your laundry. And if you're not charging for it, you're actually paying people to do their own stuff if you're not charging for it or you don't have it included in your rates.
For sure. A while back, I did a podcast with Campsite 360. Have you guys had any interaction with them at all?
We really haven't. We know that they're out there. Basically because a lot of the work I'm doing is with Campground Marketplace and they're just flooding me with people. They go out and do their own. So like Harold goes out and he does every park with a drone. This is an older guy with a drone and photos, and they do some amazing, you've seen it. You've been on their website. They do some amazing shots of the park and it's current stuff, which is what they want is current stuff.
Sure.
They would, obviously the owners are going to do it for free if they can. So he offers that free. It's just you have to get on his filming list, and he can only do so many at a time, being one guy.
Of course.
So
good.
And
Okay.
campground owners are, well, let's just do it cheap. A lot of them are, let's just do it cheap because it's cheap. Well, I don't know about you, but if I'm going to fix something, and a lot of them are better at fixing things, I'm going to do it right so it lasts 50 years.
Yes.
I'm not going to do duct tape and Gorilla Glue because I really need a whole new pipe here.
RV Life Pro isn't just a service. It's an all-in-one solution designed to make your RV experience simpler and more enjoyable. From planning your trip with precision to maintaining your RV with ease, we've got you covered every step of the way. Don't just survive the RV lifestyle, thrive in it. Visit rvlife.com to discover more about how RV Life Pro can enhance your journey.
The whole point of the marketing is what is best for your park. I mean, some parks are right off the highway. So would a sign work better for you, or is social media your only method of reaching out to new customers? Again, it all applies to what kind of client they're bringing into their campground.
Yep.
Sure.
Yep. And what sort of amenities? I know that Lovey's was going to add RV parks to their back area and their land because they have so much land with their big semis in there. But think about it. Would you feel safe letting your kids ride around on their bikes if you were at Lovey's for 2 nights?
No.
No, not at all. So not only would they have had to do the parks and get that all set up, which they could, they would have had to gate it in.
Yeah.
Like so that people couldn't get in or walk in because we're usually families traveling. We're families traveling. We're not going to go somewhere where, it's the hookup of the week location. It's just not. It's just not where we're going. Well, truckers, they come through every week, so that's the scenario behind that.
Yes, man. Any other specific technologies that you find essential for how you consult with campgrounds and also for campgrounds themselves? Starlink is what
everybody's going to. If they're paying a cable bill, the cable bills have gone from $2,000 to $3,000 to $15,000 to $20,000 a year to give people the bandwidth they need and want. And Starlink can do it for $3,000 a year. So you get into a new park and it's got all these, you may still need some boosters and stuff, but yeah, you want to go with Starlink because that's probably the easiest. And quite honestly, most full-time RVers have their own.
Yes, they do.
So, I mean, we have a Verizon tower that we got in Louisiana, and they must have Missouri. They were desperate to sell something. So we got a Verizon tower for like $20 a month, and it hooks into Verizon. And so we have 6G in the RV. We can run multiple computers, multiple streaming because it's so powerful. So we've been quite happy for the last 5 years.
You should be. Did you say $20 a month for that?
Yep, it's 25. Well, we also have a full data plan for our
our MiFis.
So we have MiFis, we have phones, we have that. So it's about $200, $220 a month.
But still, that's for all our phones, all the MiFis. We can go to Starbucks, work whenever we want. Now,
yes.
you know that this is a great deal.
It is a great deal. I lived that life
long
Missouri. Enough. Yes.
They're desperate. They'll sell it to you cheap.
The whole thing with their Verizon tower is it needs to be attached to a home address.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that was the key. And we do have a home address.
We have a domicile. Doesn't everybody have a domicile?
Yeah, absolutely.
We like the gray areas. We don't want to be bad. But I do like, if there's a gray area, letting people know that this is a legitimate and easy way to do this. And we love it. We went down to the state fair, last weekend. We're in North Carolina right now because we have a new grandbaby. So we're kind of stuck from moving places right now for a little while because she's so cute.
Congrats.
But, thank you. Eventually, she's going to get busier and we're going to be off again.
Yes. I like gray areas too. I don't blame you there. And why not exploit? So have you ever gotten in the position where you're actually brokering deals between buyers and sellers by finding buyers?
I don't, because Harold pays me a base amount for doing the accounting. I only talk to buyers who don't understand the numbers or have questions about it. Usually what we'll do though is I talk to buyers, and it's very simple. But they have 5 staff that work with buyers, is get you to the ones that you want and give you a list of, okay, these are between 2 million and 1 million. That's what I want. I want this many sites. I want acreage to grow. It'll narrow the list down from hundreds to maybe 5 or 10. Then you look at those 5 or 10, and if you have any accounting questions or, golly, can we grow? You're usually talking to me then.
Okay.
Yep. It's just determining what you want. And I think the biggest thing is, do you want to do it yourself and retire with you and your kids running it? You could do up to maybe 50 spaces, depending on your kids and whether or not they're willing to stay around. But if you get above that, you're going to need staff, and then you're going to have payroll, and you got to have somebody reliable that's there all the time.
And payroll and those topics for many buying a campground are probably new. If you've already owned a business, you're familiar with this, but there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes.
Well, and honestly, for payroll, go to Gusto. Just go to Gusto. It handles everything in every state. Super easy, very inexpensive. It's worth every penny you pay. It'll set up your employee manuals, all those things you got to have for employees, so that you just make those decisions once. And then every time you sign up a new employee, they have to sign all this stuff before they can even get a paycheck. It's perfect. It was one of the easiest things we set up for that company.
The world has changed.
It doesn't help you with the management of the staff or the training of the staff, which is very, very important. And then making sure that there's honest communication in the background, and making sure that your staff is not
killing you from behind the scenes.
Correct.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Because there's always the ones in there who have the story to tell. That's how they become popular.
Yes. Well, that leads me to the question. How much do you dive into the customer service aspect? Do you dissect what the campground is currently doing for their customer service systems and completely overhaul them?
If they are, and most of them after they've talked to us said, hey, take a look what's in my store. I'm like, firewood, ice cream. Yeah, we all get that. Would you like to make a bigger percentage? Are you willing to sell alcohol? Are you willing to sell beer? Do you want it on your site? Yes or no? That's one of the higher percentages. Okay. So now you want to do stuff for the kiddies. So unfortunately, you go to Wilcor, and one of those big major, and that's in Canada, so I don't know how these prices are going to change, but Wilcor supplies almost every campground in the United States with those little tchotchkes, and they'll tell you the exact percentage of increase, the exact sales percentage of each item. So you can put in there specifically things and know what your return on investment is going to be.
Nice.
So if people don't know that, they don't know that.
Right.
I mean, I can tell you how much a little cord of wood should be based on your area in the country. And, what your team needs to do to close down a site and get it ready for the next person. It's all the way down to the do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. Now you can move on. Now you can make the site ready on your handheld. The site's ready. And so they already know if the next person can check in or not.
Exactly.
And you can even go as far as, how is our garbage pickup? Do we do garbage pickup, or do they
have to take it out? Yeah, because garbage is a very big number. Surprisingly enough, the garbage. So are you allowing campers to put it at the end of their site, and you have people who pick it up for them? Or are you making all of your campers put it into a dumpster, which is picked up by a service, which is expensive? Are you putting it into a dumpster? You have your own skid and you go dump it, which is a quarter of the cost. It's all garbage. And it's just one little area that you can spend $5,000-6,000 a year, or you can spend a couple, $1,500.
Sure. Do you mind disclosing what the average campground, let's say, is 100 site, what their standard overhead is? Utilities,
we
garbage,
shoot for
everything.
35%. So the goal to running any campground is 35%. If you have a growing family and you like nice things, you're running at 60%.
Okay.
So you know what you have to bring in to get your bottom line. But if you're managing it from afar, you're looking for as close to 35% in efficiency as you can at expenses to income.
Sure.
And that's gross profit, so that's after cost of goods. So not income, gross.
Right.
Yep. And all of my worksheets on all these parks are based on that. They're based on reality. Like, here's what it costs you to run your store. Now, here's your net. Here's that income after that. That's where we start. What percentage of that are your expenses? So,
Good.
This episode is made possible by Travelfy. Want reliable internet without the hassle? Meet Travelfy. It's portable, high-speed Wi-Fi that's ready to go wherever you are. From road trips to remote cabins. No tricky setup or permanent location required. Just plug in and you're connected. And here's the best part. No contracts, no commitments, and no reactivation fees. Pay only for the months you need. Travelfy connects to the strongest available signal among multiple major networks, so you stay online with confidence, backed by a US-based support team that knows the outdoor lifestyle. Travelfy, simplifying internet while you travel. Visit travelfy.com today. That's TRAVLFI.com. Listeners can save 15% with code RVE at checkout.
Man, this is telling. Do you mind if we back up for 1 second? Because there's one more thing I want to cover, because you guys, you took so many of these skill sets, and we mentioned this earlier, and I just want to revisit it about, using these skill sets to leave the corporate world and turn it into a gig of consulting. Do you have any other tips? Because you made the best one about, accepting peanuts to, build the skill set on top of that. What else would you suggest?
I think do something you love. Do something you really love. Like, I love accounting. I love investigating and finding things for parks. And the owners are always going, "Oh my gosh, I didn't even think of that." That's like candy for me. So I think that find something that you absolutely love, whether it's like you finding software and being able to train the staff, and the staff go, "Oh my gosh, Randy, this is so much easier than what we were doing," and giving them clear instructions to do for troubleshooting and different things, and things that worked or things that didn't work. Like, you could have a landline, right? Or you could have cell phones. Or you could have a VIOP, whatever that is. I know he knows what that is, but it's a thing over the computer where you call through. Anyways, all three of those are calling solutions. Which one of them's best for this park to make sure not one call gets missed? Because that's a reservation.
Yes.
So if your phone lines go down, your landlines go down, you better have backups. And it's worth it to have the backups.
For sure.
I don't know if that answered your question, or I went off in left field, because I tend to do that.
Do something you love. And I think that really makes sense. Just your love for accounting and looking at numbers and dissecting that. I share that love. I understand. So it would never be work to consult with someone where you're dissecting all of those numbers for me.
Or doing it for someone you love, which is in my case.
In his case, he does the stuff because he knows it helps me out where I can actually rest and relax. I have something called laser focus, and I'm literally, figuring this out, and I'm really down the hole, and all of a sudden he'll fly the grandbaby past my face to make sure that I'm in the orbit of the world. I mean, I've jumped a couple of times, because to have the baby show up all of a sudden just jerks you out of where you were at. But it makes it fun.
No doubt.
It makes it really fun.
It does. Well put, Randy. I'm glad you said that, because that is an important factor, especially in the RV world. Have you guys
considering he didn't want to camp at all, ever.
I remember you saying that, yes.
Yeah, ever. I told him, and the deal I made was, I'll do it all, and we're going to do it 1 year. Just 1 year. If you hate it, we'll go back, we'll buy a house, no big deal.
Still doing it. Not so bad.
I think he sees how happy I am, and he's just doing it because it makes me very happy.
That's fair. And Randy, I consider camping to be backpacking, mountain, going through the mountains with a tent, not RVing. RVing is just having your house with you wherever you want it.
That is correct.
Yes.
I think because my first exposure to real RV life was that for 3 weeks between houses being built. I was still working and having to put on a full suit from a campground out of a small trailer.
It was a pole behind my dad had. It was probably 15, 13 feet. And we had a new baby, right?
Yep.
And a new baby in between houses.
So I was getting dressed in very cold, taking showers and putting on a suit and driving off. It was not fun. It was a terrible 3 weeks.
That will turn anyone off to RVing.
I was left with the kids and the lake and the campground and a new baby. I thought it was great.
Nice. Have you done any work with state campgrounds? I have to ask this because I have stayed in so many state campgrounds.
We haven't worked at just the COE, which was federal. We didn't work in any state ones, did we?
Yeah, typically state campgrounds are...
Wait a minute. In Texas, that was a county campground?
Yes, county.
That was a county, yeah.
So most state campgrounds usually have their own staff. The rangers manage handle the facilities, handle the reservations. They usually have a state website. I know North Carolina has its own site, as well as Virginia, that manages their campgrounds. So typically those are state run, and you don't, from a commercial standpoint, they're not a potential client.
They could be,
That's what I was searching for.
You never know. I mean, we've never really touched base on them.
I feel like I've been to enough that I think some of them could use some help, honestly.
Yeah.
And maybe it's at a different level, and it's at a political level. Maybe it's you're talking to a completely different person than obviously the owner. But I do feel like they need your services. Not all of them. I think some of them are great, but some of them need your services.
Well, they've got to probably send out proposals annually. If it's a state-run thing, then they're sending out proposals. You just got to figure out where the RQFs are, which are request for proposals.
Yes, I think you just nailed it. So, do you have any? There you go. Do you have any other advice for entrepreneurs from their RV, or anyone who wants to buy a campground or a campground owner? Anything else that you want to add?
If they're mobile, making sure that they have all of their, if they're moving from location to location, again, I use RV Life. There are others out there, but for, scheduling and how many miles is it to here, and where do we stop on the way, what campgrounds to go to, and they have those filters. And again, RV Life isn't the only one that does that, but we actually use the RV Life mobile app along the way. And then on the way, say, hey, we got to go across 3 states. What harvest hosts are available? What wineries or distilleries can I stop at along the way?
Emphasis on wineries.
right. Goat farms, right? We did some caving. We did some caving. Caves. Yeah, they were fun.
But yeah, that it's making the journey part of it easy but fun.
Exactly.
Such good advice, Randy. It has nothing to do with business, but it has everything to do with a happy business, making that journey there exciting and nice. And I'm with you on, we were huge fans of Boondockers Welcome. This was before Harvest Host bought them, and way back when Harvest Host was new. And, I stayed at my fair share of breweries. And by the time we were done, we were shooting video with me pulling beer from the back. And What
nothing like time. Having a few and then just stumbling back out to your RV.
Right. There's no driving. Which RV is mine?
Which RV?
We went to one when we first did it. We were in St. Louis, and we were at a Harvest Hopes up on a hill. It was 4th of July, wasn't it?
Yes, 4th of July.
We were above St. Louis on 4th of July. He was drinking some brews. We were just hanging out at a picnic table with a lot of people, literally with the St. Louis fireworks. Just miles from us.
It was actually a local neighbor who had this full display, and so we enjoyed it right from our RV.
It wasn't even St. Louis?
It was near St. Louis.
They were huge. They were huge fireworks. Like, this is the best 4th of July ever. It's just people hanging out by fireplace. Oh, it was great. It was great.
That was a harvest.
That is what RVing is. Yeah, that's amazing. So your website is popnosecampgrounds.com.
Yep.
What other socials do you have where anyone can find you, and how else can they get in touch with you?
We're both on LinkedIn. The typical corporate stuff. you probably, I don't know if you can get to me directly at the Jill at the campgroundmarketplace.com. You can get me there. But that's usually the buyer sellers. But if that's, someone wants to sell their campground is to say, Jill, take a look at this. What do you think? And I can give them a real quick view, valuation on what I feel it's worth. But it takes a real depth dive where we can really come up with a better price that, once we take out all the owners' fun things and the cars and the things, everything they're running through their business, all of a sudden the business now has got a profit. And I mean, for taxes, you don't want a profit. When you're selling, you want a profit.
Well, you also got to make sure that this is more of my area, which is licensing and that kind of thing.
Yes.
Is making sure you do your due diligence. Are they saying what's happening is what's happening, or are they dumping wastewater into the lake behind them, which we have discovered at one of the parks?
Well, treatment plant didn't work. They didn't know it should have been licensed. They took it over, and I think it was probably working at the time, but they never switched it over because they'd had it like 25 years. And not only was it not working, they were using a sub pump to pump out the sewage into the land behind them, which actually turned out to be a lake where children were swimming.
Oh, not okay.
Not okay.
Hence the point we did not buy the park.
Right.
So due diligence is super important. Just getting a hold of us is pretty easy. You've got, is it Jill at Popnose Campgrounds? Jill at popnosecampgrounds.com. You can get a hold of us there. We're pretty easy to work with. I can tell. Charge an arm and a leg, but we really do try to help other entrepreneurs who are looking at maybe going full time. And here's what they love to do. How do we think they could make a business out of that? So a lot of people say, well, gee, I love making cards. Well, okay, I can hook you up with 4 or 5 nonprofits who are looking for card makers. Maybe you go around and you are the location that picks it up for them or does things for them. And maybe that's what you do. I don't know. But there's always ideas for businesses. We've been doing accounting for a long time, seen a lot of businesses. The top business for cash is pawn shops. The second one was funeral homes. It is now RV parks, because now I've seen the real numbers of all 3 of those businesses, and all of those are high return, high cash businesses.
Yes.
And they weathered the storms. Because my girlfriend owns this, I told you, this park in Georgia, and just north of her, what's the name of that? Valdosta, got hit by a hurricane this year. Her park was the only park open that didn't get hit in the area. And she went from her average sales every year around 400,000 to over 750,000.
Oh, that's a massive jump.
She ended up, because the size of the spots were so long and they each had 50-30, that the 50 went on one end and the 30 went on the other, and they backed them into the same spot. So they were doing double dipping on every site that was available, because there was just nothing. No one had water. No one had well service. She did.
Wow. That's coming to the aid and profiting from it.
Yeah. Yeah, because her rates are really reasonable for that area, very reasonable. And, if you're military, she got a good discount because her family's military. And they bring in food trucks a couple times a week. So a couple times a week, you don't have to make dinner, which is nice. And they bring in bands and stuff. It's fun. But for this area, that park was full for like 3 months because they were easy to work with. They had the $1.50 laundry, which I can't even imagine what her laundry was at. Okay. She didn't switch over machines, so I'm sure that she probably ended up bringing in another trailer with, you can rent trailers with laundry systems in them. So she probably brought in one of those just to help out.
Nice.
And she's city sewer, city water. So she was good to go.
Wow. If there's, one serious takeaway here is if any of our listeners are looking at buying a campground, you need to talk to Jill and Randy, because you two really, you make it easy and you answer the questions quickly. Save the research. We want it to
be fun. It should be fun. If you want a campground, it's going to be fun and it's going to be work. So as long as you know the good, bad, and the ugly, you can make a decision on if it's for you and your family or not.
Absolutely. Well, Jill, Randy, it has been a total pleasure. I'm so glad I got to speak to you, and I appreciate you coming on the podcast today.
Well, thank you. We appreciate you reaching out to us. I was telling Harold at the Campground Marketplace that, hey, RV Life, they're gonna contact us there. He was like, why? What are they taking you away? I said, no, they're not. No, we're just spreading the goodwill. That's all.
There you go. And we have spread plenty of goodwill today. Thank you both so much for being here.
You're very welcome. We appreciate you asking.
I hope you enjoyed hearing about Jill and Randy's Pop Nose Campgrounds. I believe they both brought up 3 important takeaways for you. 1, if you're interested in the industry, accept low pay to build the skill sets in order to turn it into a consulting business. And 2, campgrounds can be a great investment. And 3, do what you love. Great advice from both of them. Thank you all so much for spending the last hour with us.
Hey RVers, let's be real. Your RV showerhead isn't great, and even if you swapped it out for something better, chances are it's just a shinier version of the same old thing. And if you're really lucky, those stiff hose kind of let you get wet, but definitely not where you want it. That's where Waterpik comes in. A global leader in water technology, they've designed the Transform RV showerhead to change the way you shower on the road, making it easier and more efficient to shower in tight RV spaces. While other RV showerheads have limited spray adjustments, the Transform RV's unique 360-degree pivoting head allows you to customize to any spray angle without having to remove it from the bracket. This means you can reach your desired spray area and shower with both hands free. This showerhead doesn't just work better, it feels better. It's engineered to deliver powerful, consistent water flow. Its multiple spray settings are optimized to get the most out of your water tank. And with the new trickle switch, you can conserve water without that shocking blast of cold or hot water when you turn it back on. It's available in white, chrome, and nickel. The Waterpik Transform RV showerhead is ready to upgrade your RV shower. Head over to Amazon and check it out now.